What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Jedi Jive. My name is Mike. Joining me again is my big sister, Jenny.
Hi, guys.
We're going to be doing some more The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 2. This one's called The Star-Spangled Man.
Yep.
The end of last week's episode, we met the fake Cap, or Walmart
U.S.
Cap.
agent.
He's potentially going to be like a heel, and
I expect we're going to learn some more about that character this week.
yeah, and I mean, I obviously feel really bad for Sam because like he donated the shield and then they like immediately just like don't even talk to him about it. They give it to this other guy, and he's like, so obviously Sam's gonna have that like realization of like, oh wait, no, crap, I do need to be Captain America.
We'll get there. I think first we've got to get Bucky and Sam back together. So in theory, we'll be seeing that today as well.
So we didn't have any Bucky and Sam together in last episode. So like,
today's the day.
Pretty safe to say that they're probably going to run into each other in this episode.
Yeah.
And we're going to get kind of like what they advertised this show as, which was
some buddy cop
buddying
action.
Up and, yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, let's not speculate too much.
Yeah,
let's just jump right in and watch.
For sure. It's kind of sexy.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Captain America.
It's like a Karl Lagerfeld ad. Okay, so this is him. This is he.
So he is a military guy.
Yeah.
John Walker.
John Walker, that's his locker.
You nervous?
Me? Never. I've been a captain before, obviously, but this is different. This is everybody in the world expects me to be something. And I don't want to fail them.
They're gonna love you.
No, we're not.
I mean, they might. We won't.
Good morning, Captain America.
You're going to have to work on that, bro.
I just want to do the job.
This is the job, John. All of it is.
Time to go to work.
In one sense, I mean, it's admirable just to, like, put your personal life aside and do your job. But also for Steve Rogers, it was more than a job. It was like a calling. And can this dude measure up? I really don't think so.
Just Mission Impossible kind of music.
Yeah. But also very, like, 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, blaxploitation.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a marching band. So this is the same kind of stuff that Steve was doing when he was first recruited.
In the beginning,
like the USO tour, the dancing girls, a lot
Punching
of
Hitler.
like
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of razzle dazzle and not a lot of substance.
Captain America!
Boo! Get off the stage.
What is it like being Captain America?
It's the greatest honor of my life. How did a guy like me end up here?
Wait. A guy like me. John Walker, first person in American history to receive 3 Medals of Honor.
Oh, wow.
So like legit war hero.
And hostage rescue.
Okay. Now we can't make fun of him anymore.
MIT, and you tested off the charts in every measurable category.
I'm not Tony Stark. I'm not Dr. Banner. I don't have the flashiest gadgets. I don't have super strength. But what I do have
Okay.
is guts. That's something Captain America always had, always needs to have, and I'm going to need every ounce of it. I got big shoes to fill.
Did you know Steve Rogers?
Oh, wow.
Well, I was
Okay.
2 years
Oh, this is really gonna help Bucky's already fragile mental state.
Mm.
Well, he seems like a decent guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have given up the shield.
Oh.
There we go.
See you too, Buck. This is wrong. Hey, look. I'm working, all right? So all this outrage is gonna have to wait. You think it didn't break my heart to see them march him out there and call him the new Captain America? You're not gonna come here in your overextended life and tell me about my rights.
Oof.
Wow, that hits.
Every time we fight one of the 3.
So who are you fighting now, Gandalf?
How do you know about Gandalf?
I read The Hobbit in 1937 when it first came out.
Oh, burn!
There are no wizards.
Doctor Strange
Is a sorcerer.
A sorcerer is a wizard without a hat.
So no plan.
So he's like not even supposed to be here. He's just like tagged along.
Yeah. You gonna be the one to tell the Winter Soldier no?
Steve knew me longer, and Steve had a plan.
I have a plan.
Really? What is it?
Great.
We're 200 feet. It's too low for a shoot. I don't need it anyway.
He's just gonna jump out.
Oh man.
200 feet.
all of that on camera. You know that, right? Get out of my face, Sam. I'll break it.
They're really like playing up Red Wing as like its own character, which unfortunately probably means they might destroy Red Wing at some point, which bums me out.
Look at you, all stealthy. Little time in Wakanda and you come out White Panther.
Oh my god.
I got a vibranium arm. I can take them.
And I can fly. Who gives a shit? Wait. There's 2 people. You only see 2?
That's what I saw.
Let me see what Red Wing sees.
Yeah.
How many people you see now?
So they're strong. Whatever.
So they're strong.
So they're strong.
Nope.
8th person. I think they have a hostage.
Yep.
Oh my god. Nice.
That'll work.
All right, here comes another action sequence.
Did it say vaccine?
Stealing medicine. Vaccines.
Well, that's
Real world.
apropos. Okay.
Okay. Maybe she isn't a flag smasher. Or she's there
Or
guarding
she's
it.
or she's like a trap.
Yeah, she's guarding it. Yep.
Yep. She's a trap.
Oh,
She's
Okay.
very, very strong.
yes. I called it. I called it.
You did.
I called it.
You sure did.
I felt it coming.
Good of you to join the fight, Sam.
Whoa. Boom. Oh.
All right, John
okay.
Walker to the rescue. Now we
right.
have to like him.
At least for now, they're on the same side.
Oh, okay, he's got
He's
a buddy
got a
too.
sidekick.
Yeah.
Hoskins, looks like you guys could use some help.
Hoskins. All right. Got a little team going here. Ooh. Oh, jeez. Oh, shit.
These folks aren't just a little enhanced. They are very, very strong.
Oh, shit.
Hello, girl. Kick your ass.
He has a gun. That's not very Captain America-like.
Nope.
Those were all for soldiers, Sam.
I know. You're welcome, by the way.
Oh, that was a sick move.
Sweet.
Say what?
I mean, this dude is obviously an extraordinarily skilled fighter, but we've learned that he's not super strength. And these folks are ultra strength, so...
I don't know, which kind of makes you like him more.
I gotta figure out where the serum's coming from.
Yeah, and how in the hell, after 80 years, are there 8 super soldiers running loose?
Zemo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Look, at least we know what we're up against now, huh?
We. He says we.
Yeah.
Just because you carry that shield, it doesn't mean you're Captain America. You ever jump on top of a grenade?
Yeah, actually I have 4 times. It's a thing I do with my helmet. Look, it's 20 miles to the airport. You guys need a ride. I'm not trying to replace Steve. I'm just trying to be the best Captain America I can be.
I wanted to hate him, but I don't.
Yeah. He's in a really difficult position. He's kind of being set up to fail.
Yeah.
For now, at least, he seems like a decent dude.
Yeah.
Who is this now?
Maybe that's Zemo texting her.
The GRC care more about the people who came back than the ones who never left. Because after tomorrow, there's no going back.
Let's take the shield and do this ourselves.
Do you remember what happened the last time we stole it? Sharon was branded enemy of the state, and Steve and I were on the run for 2 years.
Yeah.
We just got our ass handed to us by super soldiers.
There is someone that you should meet.
Isaiah Bradley?
Possibly?
Would Bucky know about Isaiah
I don't
Bradley?
know that he would, though. I don't think even Steve would have known about that, right?
Well, in the comics, Steve found out about him eventually.
But in this universe, I don't think Steve did.
Yeah. Well, we don't know.
Just Falcon, kid.
My daddy told me it's Black Falcon.
Is it because I'm black and I'm the Falcon?
I mean, yes.
So are you like Black Kid? Got him, right?
That's funny. It's like a
Social
point of
commentary.
pride for them, but that's also like saying gay wedding instead
Yeah,
of just like
yep.
a wedding, you know?
We're here to see Isaiah.
Yes!
You called it again. You're on a roll, man.
Tell him the guy from the bar in Goyang is here.
They do have some history.
We had a skirmish during the Korean War.
Korean War.
Mm-hmm.
Which is 1950 to 1952.
Isaiah?
Yes.
Look at you.
Yeah, old man.
Sam, this is Isaiah. He was a hero. One of the ones that Hydra feared the most, like Steve. We met in 51.
If by met you mean I whooped your ass.
Oh, I like him already.
Think you can wake up one day and decide who you want to be. It doesn't work like that. Maybe it does for folks like you.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah, the reason we're here is because there's more of you and me out there.
You and me. I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
That guy's jacked
You know
in real
what
life.
they did
Oh, shit.
to me for being a hero? They put my ass in jail for 30 years.
Isaiah.
Get out of my house!
That's intense, dude.
It's very realistic. I mean, obviously not the super soldier stuff, but the treatment of both
Yeah.
Why
veterans
didn't you
and
tell me about
black
soldiers, yeah.
veterans.
Nobody bring him up. There was a black super soldier decades ago, and nobody knew about it. What's up, man?
Is there a problem here?
No, we're just talking.
We're fine.
Talk.
Hey, look, is this guy bothering
No,
you?
he's not bothering me. Do you know who this is?
Yeah.
You missed your court-mandated therapy.
Like, handcuffs mean anything to Bucky.
Yeah, I mean,
This whole Isaiah Bradley thing just pissed Sam off.
understandably so.
He was, like, already pissed.
But this is the shit that the country that he serves has always been doing to people like him.
Mm-hmm. The Notebook.
We're going to do an exercise.
You should really enjoy this.
I'm going to.
I know you are.
Wait, what are you doing? Are you having a staring contest?
100% they are.
Just blink. Sweet Jesus. James, why does Sam aggravate you?
Why'd you give up that shield? Steve believed in you. He trusted you. He gave you that shield for a reason. So maybe he was wrong about you. And if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me.
Aww.
Maybe this is something you or Steve will never understand. But can you accept that I did what I thought was right? Thanks, Doc, for making it weird. I feel much better.
What's wrong?
What was rule number 2 again?
Don't hurt anyone.
Oh my
God. What a fucking frat boy.
Yeah.
But you guys have rules of engagement and all kind of authorizations you have to get. We're free agents. We're more flexible. So it wouldn't make sense for us to work with you.
A word of advice then. Stay the hell out of my way.
This is like echoes of Civil War.
Yeah.
You know, half the Avengers were like play by the rules, Sokovia Accords,
100%.
and these guys not
John
so
Walker's
much.
on the Tony Stark
and
side of
yeah,
things
this
this
is
time, yeah.
he's exactly he's a stand-in
We
Tony
gotta
Stark.
move out now.
Yeah.
They found us.
I can give you time. I'll hold them off.
So that guy's giving his life, presumably.
For the cause.
And she was crying.
They got away.
I know where you're going with this, and no.
He knows all of Hydra's secrets.
Okay, then. We're gonna go see Zemo.
Here it comes. Do we think maybe Zemo is whoever was texting her, who they stole from.
It's a possibility, yeah.
I had an...
Yeah, there he is.
Wow. Oh, they're gonna end it there, aren't they?
Yep.
Of course.
All right, dude. So that was basically like the whole intro to that episode was like the John Walker, not necessarily like an origin story, but we got like right off the bat.
We got some backstory. We got some like.
He's not a super soldier, but he's definitely like a hero, an actual like he. It's not like he doesn't. Like, obviously, like, he's not Steve Rogers, but, like...
They said he had, like, 4 bronze stars, and the minute, you know, Bucky was snarkily like, oh, did you ever jump on a grenade? He's just casually like, yeah, 4 of them. I used to do that as a trick. So he's obviously, like, very intelligent, high test scores in every subject. He's like one of these people who, you know, in the normal world might be an astronaut or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Incredibly
100%.
Academically gifted, an incredible athlete, former football player,
but they also said
Army
like
hero.
he's not a super soldier, but he tested off the charts in like speed and agility
exactly.
and all that stuff. So he's definitely like a specimen.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, they made him out to seem like he was gonna be like, you know, we were gonna hate him just from that one image we saw him at the end of the last episode. But I made a comment where I was like, I want to hate him, but I can't, because they're showing him not only like telling that story, but like showing that he's like at least putting forth a genuine effort to try and get Sam and Bucky to work with him,
right?
And that he's not, you know, Sam and Bucky are like actually being dicks about it. I mean, we're like, we understand that it's like understandably like they, you know, because of their relationship to Steve and all of that.
It seems like he has really good intentions. I mean, he has always been serving his country. He was in the Army. He's obviously a highly decorated veteran, but he's everything they're looking for. And obviously the point is not lost on any of us that, like, Isaiah Bradley defeated the Winter Soldier and then was thrown unceremoniously in jail.
Yeah.
But, like, this guy is being fast-tracked. It's like when the boss's son gets hired or something, you know, his like blonde, good-looking, clean-cut image is exactly what works for them.
And it's like the optics of it all, like even the Hoskins guy who they have as like the new Cap's sidekick is a black guy.
Yep.
They gave him his
That's
own
a
little
literal
Captain
trope
America.
that like the black guy's always the sidekick or the person of color is always the sidekick.
Yeah.
Not just in Marvel, in like entertainment in general.
Yeah.
And so it's a huge deal, both in the show and in the meta sense, like for Marvel, having Sam as a leading man is a huge deal. You know, for all the same reasons like the Black Panther was a game changer. It's really a huge deal to have like a black leading man superhero that we're all rooting for and that we're all on the side of. It seems like this dude has really good intentions, but he's 100% a company man. Yeah. So he is going to be that Tony Stark, like, just play by the rules, do what you're told. I'm
or
going
at
to
least
take
Civil
my
War
orders
Tony
from
Stark.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
There is sort of a presumption of intimacy, too. I really noticed how right off the bat, from, like, the minute he entered the scene, he was saying, we. These two have known each other for years. They both have a long-standing connection through Steve Rogers and through their work with the Avengers, and they've been through the wars together already. And he just comes in, and they're like, who's this clown? And he's like, we, without establishing any other connection to them. So there was this sort of like, whoa, slow down, you know, slow your roll there.
Yep.
Cowboy. But it seems like there's potential for them all to be on the same side, but the optics are a problem, and the fact that you know, like, that they chose him for a reason, that the symbology is so important here, and the fact that they tricked Sam, that they lied to Sam, the government lied to Sam and took that shield and gave it to someone else.
Yeah.
And Bucky's correct. It's not what Steve wanted.
Yeah.
So all of that is still probably, it's not John Walker's fault, but he's in the middle of it. So I think like that's...
And it all ties in with the Isaiah Bradley stuff too, and the being black in America, and like having the scene of literally Sam is talking, oh, are you black, kid? I'm not the Black Falcon.
Right.
And then they go right in and hear that Isaiah Bradley story, and then the second they leave Isaiah Bradley's house, they have a confrontation with cops that is like another like racial situation when it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
And
Which it takes that situation that he was in the bank and that amps it up into a truly dangerous, life-threatening.
And you can see Sam like each time getting a little bit more like frustrated and pissed off at the situation, like because he's been dealing with. I mean, he didn't say it directly to Bucky in that therapy session, but he was like, "You and Steve may not understand, like, but I got my own reasons."
Yeah.
And they have, like I said this in our live stream last week, like they need to convince us as the audience that Sam needs to be Captain America. Sam doesn't just need to convince himself.
Absolutely. They need to convince us as the audience, and then also within the show, they need to convince America. So it's like the characters in the show need to convince America, but also like Marvel needs to convince America, and they're giving us a really apropos, relevant story that sort of ticks all the boxes of the things that we have experienced in America in the past year.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, they're not shying away from that.
Even right down
dialogue.
to
that
the stuff that the Flag Smashers were smuggling was vaccines.
Immediately it was like vaccines. But here's a question I have about that. What is the vaccine? What are these medical supplies? What is it? We know that they preferred the
I think
world.
that could remain unspecified and it would still
Possibly.
be relevant.
Maybe that's just for their own
It's
people.
just,
Maybe it's literally just medical supplies or antibiotics or something.
Because she did point out, she was like, oh, like they, after the blip, like they treated everyone that was gone like better than they treated us who were here the whole time, which is similar.
Right.
We had pointed this out.
Same
It's
thing
kind of
that
what
Hayward,
was
same
saying.
problem he had.
Yeah.
And it's super on the nose, but it's about both sort of culture wars that we're currently experiencing and also the immigration conflict that is happening in the press, in the media. It's this idea that like these people, whether we're talking about like black people or immigrants or any other marginalized demographic, these people are coming in and taking our resources.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they need to take a clue from Cher Horowitz. They need to like get to the kitchen and rearrange some things, you know? But like it's that scarcity mentality that we're all led to believe there's only so much to go around, and if you share it, there's less for you. Obviously, that's a bad framing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true. There's plenty of resources for everybody. But from these folks' point of view, these people, these immigrants, these others are coming in and taking our resources, and we're already suffering. We already don't have enough for ourselves. Like when was her Carrie Morgenthau?
That's
Is that what it was? I'm forgetting her name already. But when her like boyfriend sacrificed himself for the cause, I mentioned, they're gonna look at that and be like, that's one of ours who died. What, for the sake of them?
Mm-hmm.
So it's setting up this dynamic where, you know, humans are against other humans for no good reason. Like, nobody did anything wrong to be blipped or not blipped.
Yeah.
Let alone to be brought back. These people didn't make a choice to leave, let alone to come back, but they're being treated, I think the phrase I said last week was like second-class citizens in their own lives.
Yeah.
And so all of these situations that are out of this entire scenario is out of everyone's control, but they're pitted against each other within that scenario.
They're also maintaining the situation where they make sure that every character has a little bit of gray area because they're the Flag Smashers. We've been told that they're the bad guys, but then we see her like crying and they give her like a human moment.
Yeah.
They give her a couple of human moments actually.
Yep.
So it's like, you know, it's opening the door for them to not necessarily be bad guys in the future so much, is because like we know that like Sam and Bucky are literally like, okay, we have no choice, we have to go get Zemo because he's gonna know what to do. Like even though he's a bad guy, like, and we're the good guys, we need to like get information from the bad guy. All of a sudden it's like, well, wait a minute, now Sam and Bucky are gonna be working with a bad guy in order to defeat this girl, whereas
we've seen this is a repeated trope in Marvel. This is like Loki teaming up with Thor to fight a particular battle, but then tricking him and doing something devious later.
Sure.
You know, this is something that we've seen again and again.
It's every character though. It's like U.S. Agent. We haven't actually heard that name dropped yet. They just called him John Walker and
John
Captain
Walker.
America.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna actually use the term.
Maybe
US
that'll
Agent
happen in the
soon.
course of the show. Maybe like Sam will be Captain America and they're like, well, we'll have to call this other dude something. Let's give him a new superhero name.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll become U.S. Agent so that Sam can be Captain America.
Yeah, that's possible. But let's not forget also that Bucky is a super soldier and that he, you know, he can just be, because there's that complex situation at the end where like she's like, what was rule number 2 again, Doc? And she's like, don't hurt anyone. And he doesn't say it. It's just like, what do you want me to do? Like I'm.
So
I'm
far, we've seen that he's like trying to work his program. He's
So, like,
trying to be by the book, and like when you said handcuffs won't do anything to Bucky, but he complied.
Yeah,
he was not interested in fighting them or arguing with them. He's sort of like a broken man, climbed in the cop car and just like sulked all the way to therapy.
Yeah, it's not just the Flag Smashers also potentially being human, like good in a way. It's also like Sam and Bucky, like I kept saying, they're being dicks or whatever, in a way that it's like, yeah, they're the good guys of the show, but they're like also their own worst enemy.
Absolutely.
When it comes to it, and like they play into that theme in Civil War too.
I was just gonna say
Sam and Bucky are gonna get in their own way. So like it's not like it doesn't make them a bad guy, but it's like in terms of the theme of like nobody being perfect and everybody having their own issues. You know,
we explored this a lot during WandaVision.
Or there being two sides
blurring
to everybody.
the blurring of lines of like who's a good guy and who's a bad guy. It isn't black and white. Like everybody in this entire story has been through incredible trauma.
Yeah.
Like the blip alone, whether you remained or came back, whatever side of that equation you were on, that in and of itself is an unspeakable trauma.
Yeah.
Not to mention the things that any of these individual characters have been through in terms of war and torture and losing friends and everything. So everybody in this story is extremely traumatized. And just like in WandaVision, there's definitely this commentary about how bodies in crisis, humans in crisis, react. And some people are going to react differently than others. Maybe you get radicalized, become a flag smasher, decide that other people's human lives are not as good as yours. Maybe maybe you're Steve Rogers and you just do for the good all the time. But like there's a million possibilities of like how you react to trauma when you're constantly being re-traumatized.
And John Walker also, he was trying for the whole episode. He I didn't think I was gonna like him, but what is it, Wyatt?
Wyatt Russell.
Wyatt Russell's. Yeah, he did a good job. I really kind of I felt what he was putting out there, but then at the end of the episode, he drew the line where he was like, "Don't get in my way." And that's where I was talking about when it comes into play in terms of Sam and Bucky being their own worst enemy, because now they're free agents who can go break the law and do what they want because they deem it necessary.
Right.
At what point does that put John Walker because obviously we want Sam and Bucky to that's who we're following, they're the protagonists. We want them to do well here, but at the same time John Walker, he may be a company man, but it's he should be stopping Sam and Bucky if they're doing illegal things. That's his job. Right. So
it's right back to the question of the Sokovia
being
Accords,
an enemy in that sense.
Right. It's right back to this question of the Sokovia Accords. When you have all these enhanced people and all these powered people, and some of them are working for you, and some of them are free agents, and some of them are straight up evil. Do you regulate that? It's not that the Sokovia Accords are this bad, devious thing. It's just an imperfect solution to a very messy problem.
I think they've kind of established that John Walker physically he's not a super specimen, but he's he gets the job done, and they showed him throwing the shield and hitting targets and just being an all-around
extremely
badass.
Efficient.
So they've made it pretty clear that he's gonna crumble psychologically, not physically. He's not gonna get defeated in a fight, or he's gonna be torn apart
and
mentally.
His allegiances may be tested in the course of everything that's going to go down, because he's going to realize that it's not America good. It's not all Star-Spangled
100%.
Heroes and Nazis. There are subtleties, and sometimes you have to work with Loki or Zemo or whoever.
So the question is that by the end of this show, is John Walker still a character that we're he's on our side, that
we like and we want to see again, or is he going to be defeated and go retire somewhere, or worse?
Is he going to go totally off the deep end and Sam's going to have to kill him?
Is he going to become a villain? I mean, this has happened where good guys go through something and turn into bad guys. We've seen it in other sort of Marvel
not even a guy, maybe a country in general,
happens.
America can become the bad guy just by being in the wrong position in war or whatever, and all of a sudden, before you know it, that image of Captain America is the image of you guys are the Nazis now, you're the oppressors.
Let's talk about Isaiah Bradley for a minute, because you called it. We suspected that he might show up in this show.
Real quick, before we talk about it, I called that, right before it happened, I also called,
Red Wing.
They specifically were, making Red Wing a character, and I'm they're totally going to destroy Red Wing now.
And it happened fast. No sooner had you said it than it came to pass.
But okay, so Isaiah Bradley,
So he's one of the first super soldiers. It turns out that it wasn't just Steve Rogers. This is a storyline from the comics. That
they tell the story about how he kicked Bucky's ass
he kicked the Winter Soldiers.
So it's Isaiah Bradley was a badass.
But they were experimenting with the super soldier serum on multiple people, not just Steve. And so obviously once Steve went down into the Arctic Ocean and, sunk his plane and went to sleep for 70 years, obviously they were they pulled some of the backups out of the ranks, or they created some new ones, or something. We're not clear exactly at what point he was injected with serum.
Yeah.
But he met Bucky in the Korean War in 1951 when Bucky was a Hydra assassin.
Yeah.
So he fought Bucky, and then Bucky comes back all like meek and shell-shocked and says, are you going to help us or not? And what motivation does this guy have to help out
But
Uncle
also,
Sam?
when he got like pushed a little bit and he like had a moment and he
threw
like
the
he
box
threw the
into
thing
the
and it like
wall.
went into the wall, and then you could see like his grandson or whoever that was had kind of like a wince moment, which is like, oh, you can tell that like that's something he's been suppressing, and it only comes out like very rarely.
Yeah.
And that, yeah.
But this is, that story was like a gut punch that he told, that he literally fought like the world's most badass Hydra assassin, actually managed to rip off half of a vibranium arm. Like, dude did his work. And whatever happened when he came back, we've seen allusions before to the fact that veterans don't get enough resources, that veterans aren't supported. We've seen that in this show and also back in Civil War, when Sam had his support group for people with PTSD who are not being cared for.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just that he faced like the sort of lack of resources and the lack of care that all veterans face. He was just treated like a black man in America.
Yeah.
And ended up in prison, without ceremony, as if he weren't this like incredible hero who had literally sacrificed everything, including his own human body.
Yeah, and meanwhile,
to America.
take into consideration the fact that like prison, like he could, if he's a super soldier, he could just break out of prison if he wanted to, right?
Maybe they had him in. Maybe they had him in a super soldier jail.
Had him in
we don't know.
Magneto chamber.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
But it ties right into this thing with the bank manager and the police officers, and when they look at Sam without the goggles, he literally said, "I didn't recognize you without the goggles." When they see him out of his costume, it's like, oh, they all look the same. It's just another black man who must be hustling this good-looking white boy.
I do like I like that storyline, and it's really important, and they've done a good job of like putting it in here. But at the same time, I hope that they don't like overdo the racial stuff.
I don't know if you can overdo it. It's incredibly present. It's not. This is.
Like they don't want to. I said like don't want to beat. It's like they've kind of showed us already, and they made the joke like, oh, are you a black kid? Are you a okay?
Right.
And it's just they don't want to just overdo it, is what I'm saying, because then all of a sudden it becomes too much of a they're beating you over the head.
But
with
by
the
the
race
same
subject.
right, it might feel like that to us, but by the same right, people who experience it don't get a break from it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, and I think that's part of the point that's being made, is that for Isaiah Bradley, for Sam's family who don't have superpowers and big connections, this is something that they have to live with like 24/7 every single day, and there is no escape from it, even when you are a literal patriotic superhero.
Yeah. They actually, Bucky name dropped, was it Bucky? Or was it Sam? Who name dropped Sharon Carter real quick.
Oh, yeah.
It was Sam, yeah.
We heard her referenced. He said, she...
The last time we tried to do this,
hiding,
she became
Steve and I were on the lam for 2 years.
So we still didn't get Sharon Carter, but we got her name dropped, so we can maybe feel like she'll show up in the next episode.
Right, so last episode 1, it ended with the cliffhanger of the introduction of U.S. Agent. And now this has ended with another cliffhanger, the introduction or the reintroduction of Baron Zemo. And we see him in prison, because of all the really bad things he
Bucky
did.
and Sam are going to break him out of prison.
They're going to have to. Again, I'm keep coming back to this, but it's like the Loki storyline. He was in prison in Asgard. He had that little like illusion chamber where he made a nice like salon for himself, but he was in like the magic prison. And then he had to get busted out of there to defeat Hela, right? Or to help fight that war. I think we are going to find out more next week about how he fits into all this. Does he have any connection to the Flag Smashers?
She had that text, and we're like, oh, was that Zemo texting her?
Right.
Like, you stole what was mine, or whatever. Like,
right.
Did they steal super serum?
Is he somehow behind it? Is he helping to run them? They had all those purple lights and stuff at the headquarters, and I thought that was maybe that's just set design.
I think it makes sense that Sam and Bucky need Zemo to find the Flag Smasher people, because Zemo's looking for them too, because they stole his super serum.
So it's possible that he's connected to them in some way.
Because we need an explanation for why they're
super soldiers. Yeah. We don't know how
because
they
Sam
got
and Bucky
enhanced.
were surprised by the fact that they even exist.
Yeah, he said something like 80 years later, and now there's 5 of them, or whatever number it was, because they weren't aware of any super soldiers being made after I guess Sam wasn't aware until he met Isaiah that after World War II this was a thing.
Yeah.
So Bucky obviously knew about Isaiah and potentially the other test subjects.
Yeah.
But he didn't know that there were super soldiers running around.
Also, like, clarify,
now.
like, technically, like, these flag smashers, like, it's not just, like, straight up, like, terrorism. They're not, like, they're not, like, trying to destroy shit just for the pure carnage of, you know, like, it seems like when they were like, oh...
Yeah, they're not anarchists, they have an ideology.
They just want respect, almost, right? Isn't she kind of just like, oh, they...
Well, I think that's a question, because clearly they want to go back to the way things were before the blip, but what does that mean? Does that mean they want to create...
No, they want stuff the way it was during the
Or during the blip, rather, yes.
Yeah.
They want half of the world gone again, but what does that mean? Does that mean they want to create a separate nation where they send all the people who returned? Does that mean they want to kill them?
Yeah.
Like, what is their end game? What is their
we need some clarification on
agenda?
that,
What are they actually trying to achieve? What's the plan? Who's running them, and who converted them into super soldiers?
I think all of these things might evolve, too, which is going to put Sam and Bucky in that interesting situation of, like, are they fighting for America? Are they fighting for themselves? Are they fighting for Steve Rogers? Like, who is, you know, because we're calling U.S. agent, like, a company man.
What is the side of good, and you know, what is good, what is evil, what is right and wrong here?
Yeah.
It's not clear at all.
All right, guys, lots of questions,
lots of
questions,
stuff.
Lots of potential. This was another great episode. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.